Let's move on to some other company news that I found interesting here today. I did want to talk about General Motors first, if we can. And guys, we already know the EV, movement is going to be there for a long time. We are moving towards more environmentally friendly, models in almost every industry that there is. And General Motors, in terms of building cars, made a big, big, big stance and put a lot of money behind this that they've dedicated to it towards EV movement over the next 15 years. Matt, couple things. Number one, they said that by 2035, they're going to end all of their diesel and gasoline production on the traditional cars that they've been making for a long time. By 2030, they want to be, I believe, 100% renewable energy in their US facilities and global facilities and so on and so forth. The money that they had dedicated to investing in this over the next several years, they increased that from 27 billion, they increased it 35%. And Matt, just obviously a big stance by General Motors here, wanting to move towards electric vehicles and all of those kind of things. Do you buy into this theme? Do you buy into this ideal? Do you think that GM is onto something here, and does it get you interested in the stock over the
Well,
long term?
yeah, I do buy into it because Larry Fink bought into it, and once Larry Fink bought into it, it was time for every one of us to buy into it. And so, we've had that philosophy at Tackle for a few years now. I mean, however you want to personally categorize the ESG movement, and yes, there are some funny categorizations of the ESG movement relative to stocks. But what is important and is to see these corporations, these big corporations, embrace this movement to start focusing on clean tech, focusing on clean energy. And it's like Larry Fink said last year, we're going to remove our investment in the fossil fuel community. We are going to put that investment into clean tech. And he was talking about $1 trillion out of his $7 trillion he has in that fund. He was at BlackRock. He was talking about moving that. And what that does, when Wall Street does take those types of movements, it forces companies like Exxon, Chevron, GM to embrace that movement or to not get Wall Street money, quite frankly. And so, yeah, when Larry Fink said that a year ago, and then when he said earlier this week in that same letter that he does every single year, that it wasn't we're going to do this. The message was basically, if you don't do this, we're coming at you, right? We're not just going to remove liquidity. We're going to come at you, and that's probably through investment in other companies, right? Other companies out there. And so what GM announced today was just a quicker journey to that 100% EV rating that they're seeking. And so by 2030, GM's proposal here today is we will be 100% clean tech by 2030, and from a global perspective by 2035. And quite frankly, I think GM, maybe they just have great intentions and are altruistic in everything they're approaching here, or maybe just maybe that people like Larry Fink are forcing these companies to actually do this.
Mhm.
However you want to categorize that is up to you. But from a market perspective, this is GM saying, we want to be Tesla. We want to be Tesla. We want to be seen as Tesla by the marketplace. And so we'll see how the market handles it. But you got to like the trend, you got to like the pattern, and quite frankly, you got to like the performance of GM relative to the market today, holding that $50 support level, holding that as the market's been trading off. GM has not. You got to like this bullish retracement in GM. And I know earnings are coming up fairly tight here. You do have earnings here coming up on the 10th, but you still have enough time to justify a swing trade if you do get some confirmation coming into the week.